It's Rachel here, and I am hopping on to share with you today a topic very near and dear to my heart. It's the power of pleasure, and how, as women, coming home into our bodies and into our sensuality is so crucial for us to show up um, in our power as women. Hey, Georgia. So let's take a moment just to sit and ground, connect to the earth, feel our feet on the floor, feel our seat on the chair, feel supported. Imagine having a golden string pulling out the top of our crown, lengthening our spine, aligning us with our channel. And let's take some deep breaths. Inhaling ease, exhaling any stuck energy, inhaling relaxation, releasing, surrendering, arriving fully here and now in this present moment. Taking another deep breath, bringing our awareness to our heart, dropping a bit deeper into our seat, arriving in the body, coming into connection with the sensations, maybe bringing some soft touch to our arms, awakening the sensations of our body, just dropping in for a moment. On the next exhale, we can open our eyes, arriving to the space. Hello, ladies. Just coming home, arriving into our body, into our senses, the senses of being alive this morning. Hi, Haley. So today I want to share a little bit on the topic of pleasure, which honestly we could talk about for days and years and lifetimes. So I'm going to try to drop to essence for 15 minutes on why this topic is so important, especially now in these times of, the rising feminine, and what does that actually mean for us as women. In my personal opinion and exploration, as women who are rising into our power, what does that really mean? It means healing ourselves so we can fully know and embrace our worth, so that we can honor our truth, value our words, and really own our impact in the world. That when we feel at home and safe in our bodies, then we can truly, live from the heart and express ourselves in the world as the world needs us to. We've been out of balance for so long. Hey, Naomi. Living in a world that's been created by men, and we still carry these codes, I would say, the suppression of women in our DNA, in our deep, deep, subtle layers of the subconscious mind as women. Even if it's so much more equal these days, we still carry these remnants of so many generations living in a man's world. And it's a little bit of a controversial notion, I think, but when we look back to the time when the patriarchal monotheistic religions kind of took over and really kind of conquered the world with their ideologies, we did see that, the women's sensuality and sexuality was suppressed and has been suppressed for a very, very long time. And this still remains in our society today. We have this kind of shame around our sensuality, around our nature as sensual beings, that blocks us on a really subconscious level. Now, if we think about the whole body as a channel of energy, right? We have the chakras. Every energetic center is a point along our channel. If one of them is blocked, then the whole energy flow is going to be blocked or off balance. And as we're healing ourselves and coming more into our power and our ability to really express ourselves fully in the world and bring our gifts, we need this energy flow to be fully aligned and balanced so our channels can be open and we can be fully expressed in life. So it's starting at the root chakra, right? Like this is the base layer of survival. Do we feel safe in this body? Do we feel safe on this earth? Can we really, once we have these survival, the root really balanced and like, okay, I'm safe. Then we move up to the sacral chakra. And the sacral is like the womb center, right? The center of creation, creativity, emotion, sensuality. So what is it really? It's the essence of connection, of our deep longings and desires as humans to connect and to express. So that's like so basic in our human expression, this desire to create, to reach out, and to long, our deep desires, our longings. This is so, basic in our human expression, and especially as women, we are sensual beings. Hey, Yarden. So if we're talking about pleasure as a realm where we can really heal our power, it's about acknowledging these deep desires and releasing the shame that we may carry in our body, whether it's insecurities towards our body or just the discomfort general around asking for what we want or really expressing vulnerably what we desire. Shame can manifest so many different ways in the body. What is shame? Shame is the feeling of not being worthy. And it's even deeper than guilt. Guilt is like, I've done something wrong. But shame is so, deep and encoded in our bodies that we're often not even aware of how it can show up. And when we allow ourselves to be in pleasure, not only sexual pleasure, but just the pleasure of letting our true desires and joys guide us in our life, then we need to look at where shame may be holding us back and stopping us from claiming our desires, honoring our desires, and letting them drive us forward in life. And as women, this is a time it's so important for us to really acknowledge our true longings and desires and release the shame around it so we can let them guide us. Because this whole energy flow, that is us, right? We each have an authentic energy flow, and our desires are basically coded in us. Like our true longings and desires are coded in us so that we can show up and be of service, especially at this time. And when shame is stuck in the body, it's blocking that energy flow. So pleasure, the realm of pleasure, is where we can relearn to be in our worth, release the shame, and let those pleasures and those desires really guide us in our life. So, hey, Ash. Yeah, so I really want to ask you guys for a moment just to reflect on, if you can close your eyes for a moment and connect to yourself and just ask where shame may be showing up in your life, blocking you from your true desires. And how do we identify shame? It can feel like, actually, shame can feel like that black cloud that just kind of comes over us and blocks everything. Or it can be really, really subtle, these contractions in us where we actually close our energetic field. Vibrationally, we close ourselves to allowing in what otherwise might be good for us or pleasurable, especially around our desires and truly saying what we want when it comes to intimacy. How many times do we just hold ourselves back from really expressing what would feel good or what we desire because we're afraid, we're ashamed of actually saying what we want and what would feel good? So this is what I want us to look at, and it doesn't have to be in like our intimate and sexual life. It can be anywhere in our life where maybe we hold ourselves back from truly just saying what we want and expressing our desires. And I want to invite us to start to notice these places and where we feel safe. Maybe it's with family or friends. It can be with a partner. Just start to practice really saying what we want and lean through that discomfort, like open ourselves into it and ask for what we want, ask for what we desire, and let the world meet us there. And this can be a practice, because if we're so used to holding back from our desires and just receiving from the world, then it can be uncomfortable. But we want to open there. We want to expand through those places where we would otherwise contract or hide or feel like on a subtle layer not worthy, not capable of even asking for what we want. And this can be so deep, so deeply subconscious, where we hold ourselves back. So I just want to invite us to start to look at that and recognize where shame is in our bodies, where things in life meet us and we contract, we close, and ask ourselves, is this something that I can open to and open through and allow the energy to move? Or is this something in my reality that's not meeting me, and I should, you know, change my behavior, or like basically place a boundary versus expanding into it. Oh, 1 second. So, okay, so a few ideas of how we can start to move through this shame that may be in our body. Yes, Georgia, shame makes me feel so uncomfortable in my body. Where do you feel it? Like, how does that usually show up for you? And a few ways we can work through this shame and start to release it from our body, which is so important as women who are seeking to live from the heart and really fully expressed in our truth and our gifts. We need to expand energetically into life and not let it shut us down. So some practices, actually self-pleasure is the deepest way we can bring healing to ourselves, because we're allowing that healing energy, that pleasure directly into ourselves, directly through our body, to open and expand into it, to breathe through and open without depending on anyone else outside of us to bring us that pleasure. This is so deeply healing in the body, as well as practicing asking for what we want, asking for what we desire, even if it feels uncomfortable. Finding those safe places at first, and then maybe getting a little more edgy, a little more experimental with it, and seeing how we can open ourselves more to life and let life meet us there. Letting our pleasures and our joys truly guide us, because this is how we allow that higher vibrational energy to move through us, and we activate this vortex. You know, as women, as divine feminine embodied, we are magnetic, right? We are meant to magnetize to us all of the love and the abundance and the pleasure we desire. So how do we magnet what we want? We call it in from the inside first. We like allow our experience in our bodies to be pleasurable and joyful, open ourselves up to that vibration, and then we allow reality to meet us there. And that's how we magnet as the feminine. Aho. Yes, yes, for asking for what we want. This is such a crucial practice. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave it there for now. This is a topic I really would love to dive into deeper, to talk about so much more. Where does shame hold us back? How can we expand through it? How can we let our joy and our pleasure truly guide us in life? And I would love if, hey Shani, if you have any questions or ideas around where, you maybe feel like you can open yourself more to pleasure, I would love for you to share us here. Let's start a dialogue in the comments, because if you're going through it, if I'm going through it, I'm pretty sure it's something all of us are going through, if not most of us. So I think that having a safe space to talk about these things, where we're afraid to really own our desires, that we can really heal together and start to bring these desires out more and more into life, and through this pleasurable way of living, raise the frequency of everyone around us. And It's through us as women opening our channels, allowing that energy to flow as it wants to flow, allowing ourselves to feel worthy for everything we desire. This is how we can support raising the vibration of the planet and empower everyone to, align with joy and take back our power to create our reality, living in alignment with joy in our hearts. Sisters, thank you so much for joining me today. Would love to continue the conversation and talk to you guys soon.